He's a 3-time national mustache champion, and we have him with us this week. It's Bob and Elliot on Mustaches and Coffee.
Or the coffee.
Top of the mustache to you, and welcome to another episode of Mustaches and Coffee, where the topic goes, nobody knows. I'm Isaac.
I'm Ben.
And I am Bob. And of course, this is Elliot Norris, my mustache.
And we're glad to have all you mustache and coffee lovers joining us for this special episode. As you heard, we have Bob and Elliot with us. So how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I'm happy tomorrow is Friday.
Yes. Yeah. Happy Friday to all who are listening. And, I don't know where you're at, but it was negative 17 degrees feels like here. Was it that cold for you today?
Yes.
No, I'm in Virginia, and it was cold, around freezing, but then it gets warm and then it goes back to freezing. So it's definitely crazy.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's Ohio weather too, but it was very, very cold today. So we're glad to have you with us, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I can already tell we're really excited to have you join our podcast, but I have to ask because I seem to forget. I just like to check in. Ben, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Apparently I'm a multimillionaire, I found out. Some guy supposed to give me $30 million if I give him my information. So apparently, yeah, I'm very rich. So that's how I'm doing.
Okay, well, I'm going to get a little bit of that, right? Like there's some kind of cut for me.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'll buy you whatever you want. You do, Bob. Okay. Whatever you want. It's on me.
Apparently, I have family members that were oil barons somewhere in Africa, and I'm worth like $252 million. I just have to fax all of my info over. Can't email it.
Exactly. Yeah. Same here.
Again, we're happy to have you with us. So let's get into it. Let's start from the beginning. What got you into wanting to do mustache competitions?
The fame, the money, the riches, No, actually, I was there to work to grow a beard for a year. I've been growing facial hair since I got out of the Army in 2005. I grow it out, shave it off, grow it out, shave it off. It always got dry and it got itchy. So someone at work said, I dare you. So I took that challenge and I grew a beard out. And from what I understand, blonde beards with mustaches are like unicorns. You don't see a whole lot in the competition world. So I wanted to compete. COVID hit, right? This was December 2018. And then around the time that I wanted to compete was very early 2020. There was a big competition in Richmond. There was another one in North Carolina, and COVID hit. So everything got delayed. So I kept pushing it out. I grew the beard out to about here after about 20 months. And I said, well, forget it. I'll take the beard off, but I want to see how the mustache looks. Everywhere I looked, there was a lot of great looking beards, but not a lot of big mustaches. I took the beard off, and then next thing you know, I got companies, hey, you want to try our mustache wax? You want to do this? You want to do that? Have you heard about the national championship? So I won my first national championship in 2020 for the handlebar. It's where I beat Josh Quinney. It all had to be online, but I beat Josh Quinney. Then 2021, I got to be in a bare knuckle boxing film because of my mustache. I got second place in Scranton to Josiah, beautiful mustache. Then 2022, we went to Casper, Wyoming, and I got first place in freestyle. I did a bunch of loops. 2023, I also got to go to Germany for the World Beard and Mustache Championship. Awesome. It was in Burghausen, Germany. First time I ever got to go overseas. I placed second in the world for the Hungarian mustache. Then I went to Dayton, Ohio. I got second in freestyle. Then nationals was just in Washington State in November. And I did an English and I got first place there. So I have 4 categories left to go before I think I can have the title of King of the Mustaches.
Wow. That's all I gotta say is wow. That's just super impressive. My goodness.
So
Wow.
you mentioned before that your name of your mustache is Elliot. So how did you come up with the name? What's the story behind that?
Well, I had been styling my mustache and posting online because when I first started doing beard stuff, mustache stuff, there wasn't a whole lot of like, this is the bare stuff you need to do, and this is how I do it. So I was experimenting and I was posting about it, and I thought my mustache looked really good. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go tomorrow and I'm going to register my mustache and get a birth certificate. And if Sam Elliott and Chuck Norris had a baby, it'd be my mustache. So I'm going to register it as Elliot Norris. And it just kind of stuck. And now, I mean, I got it on like sticker, hats, and, where's my coffee cup? This has been in a lot of my videos.
Yes.
And
awesome.
what's been kind of great is like my mom loves her hoodie and her t-shirt and her coffee cup. I've had some buddies buy t-shirts for the kids. So it's been kind of cool.
Oh, wow. That everything you're saying is just fantastic. That's what we're all about here. Just having fun. That's
the
awesome.
funny story behind the stickers was I had been on TikTok, a couple of months, and I was on my way to Erie, Pennsylvania, for Oddity Productions filming of Alexander the Brain, bare knuckle boxing film. And I was in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, stopped, got some gas, went in to get a Dr. Pepper. And the young man behind the counter, maybe was 17, he looks at me and he goes, "Are you that guy on TikTok with the mustache who shaves?" And I'm like, yeah, maybe there's somebody else, but yeah, he's like, "Oh, I follow you." So after that, I took a photo with my iPhone and made a sticker out of it. Now I carry a wad of those and hand them out to a lot of people.
Wow. So
Awesome.
cool. What was that like? I mean, somebody came up to you and just asked that. Like, what kind of does that kind of cement? Like, man, I'm getting pretty big here.
Well, it's humbling. I always say, people are like, "Oh my God, you're famous." I'm like, no, I still chew my own food. Once I can pay someone to chew my food for me, I made it in the big leagues. But one of the coolest stories out of it was my third child was in college at Syracuse. And in the first week that I started posting a TikTok, one video hit like 1 million views, right? And I was like, "Oh my God." I thought that was normal. So he messaged me after that weekend. She's like, "When did you get a TikTok?" And I'm like, "Last week." She's like, "I got people on campus saying, 'Have you seen this guy with the mustache?'" And she goes, "Wait, that's my dad." So she didn't even know.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Wow. I'm just blown away. All the things you're talking about. That's just fantastic experience of I can only imagine though. That's so cool.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I try to approach it that I'm not popular without somebody watching my stuff. So, I'm always appreciative, and I try to spend about 2 to 3 hours every day on every platform from YouTube to TikTok, Instagram, Threads, X, engaging with any comments, right? A lot of people say I look like Escanar from Seven Deadly Sins anime, or the Lorax, or, Dr. Robotnik, and so on and so forth. So I try to go in and engage with those comments. And, that in itself is, to me, a reward for what I do. Not the
Yeah.
fame or the money, helicopter rides, jumping with the Golden Knights. I mean, that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I do have to ask you this question. With having such a large mustache, is there any challenges you have on a daily routine, like slam it in at a door or something?
There is. So I've got it rolled up because that's the easiest way for me to go about doing things. Because the longest I had it was about to the edges of my shoulders.
Wow.
And it was 20 inches tip to tip. That makes sleeping a little difficult. And so when I roll it up, it's a whole lot easier. Eating and drinking can be a pain in the butt. But the longer it gets, right now, the middle goes underneath here. So that would block my mouth. But if I style it like this, it gets it up and out of the way. I can eat fine. I can drink fine. And there's different like defenders for your mustache that you put in a cup, and it pushes your mustache up so you can eat. Knife hand to eat like this, or I do this. And it's funny at first, but it's like second nature, right?
Yeah.
Put everything in my hot dog bun, then the hot dog on top. Otherwise, I'm just going to smear mustard and relish all in there and combing it out for weeks. The sugar donuts are my enemy. I love them, but I think I still
Oh.
have sugar from a donut in my mustache from like 3 years ago.
I can imagine, but to kind of go along with that, what is your routine? Like, how long does it take for you to get it styled, or is it pretty straightforward?
Um, it depends. It does take practice. So my like social media motto to this is practice, practice, patience, and repetition. So you gotta have some patience, right? Because when you first start doing it, you're not sure what you're doing, and it's growing, from month to month. So you got to do it day in, day out. Whole first year, I was putting mustache wax in, and I went from originally about an hour, right, to now my average style time is maybe 7 to 12 minutes. Things I didn't know in the beginning is mustache wax that I had in my pocket that's down here. This is oil soluble, right? And when I was putting oil and balms into my mustache, the wax would not firm up. So I just kept gobbing more in. And then somebody told me, hey, mustache wax is oil soluble. So once I started doing a dry, clean mustache, I mean, I went from like an hour to 15 minutes.
Wow.
And then I just started getting better at how much to use, when to use it. I use a hair dryer to give it direction so that I'm not fighting the hairs that are rolling this way, or one goes this way, one goes that way. And I share all of this online. I don't charge anybody because I know I struggled.
Yeah. That's great. And you were saying about the following. So yeah, we encourage ones. We're always about what are some grooming tips? What are some good, tips? Because like you said, if you don't know, it's gonna take you an hour. It's gonna take you
Yes.
a lot
So
longer than it should.
I get a lot of questions varying from grooming to how do I grow it faster? How do I do this? Facial hair is mostly controlled through genetics and time, right? And those are two things you really can't have control over. So I always say grow the best facial hair you can, but there are things you could do to help it reach its fullest potential. The common mistake I made, as I mentioned, from 2005 to 2018, growing facial hair out, it always got dry, it always got itchy. I'd go from a beard to a goatee. It was dingy, it was nasty because I was using head shampoos and face washes. Your facial hair uses the natural oils that your skin produces on your face in order to grow and be healthy. If you use a head shampoo, that's pH balanced to strip the oil out of your hair so your hair doesn't look greasy. That's going to dry your facial hair out. Once it's dry, it splits or it stunts the growth or it looks dingy, it's itchy, you cause that beard flake. So using a beard wash that's designed to be less harsh helps. Adding in beard oil to the skin under the hair is going to replenish the oils you're going to lose during normal growth. And then you put a balm on just a little bit, and that's a leave-in conditioner. So think about it like this. You could take a handful of let's say, tomato seeds, right? You can throw them in your yard. Let nature take its course. Some will grow, some won't. But if you plant them, you put down a little fertilizer, you water them regularly, make sure that they're getting everything they need, they'll grow to their fullest potential.
Ah, I like it.
Good tips.
That's a very good way to put it. I like that very much.
Half an inch a month is the average growth rate. So, my mustache, if I were to unroll it out to about here, is about 14 inches tip to tip. That doesn't happen overnight, and that doesn't happen after a month. That's well over a year of growth. So I meet a lot of guys that are like, oh, I try to grow a mustache like yours. And I'm like, well, how long did you try to grow for? They're like, about 2 weeks. I just couldn't take it. And you were at like a quarter of an inch. And I always say, grow a beard, hide the mustache. The reason is a lot of guys want to trim up around the mustache, and they trim from the corner of the nose to the corner of the mouth, right? So you're going to take out a lot of the hair that's in here that you may not know you need after a year. And I don't trim over the middle. I only trim the edges. I trimmed 20 inches off of each side since December of 2018.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
So
amazing.
So it's a long game.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that. That makes sense. Everything you're saying, though, that's just so cool. So, well, I think we could talk all day about mustaches.
Me
We
too.
enjoy mustaches, but what we like to do is we ask our guests what's called universal questions, and we do it rapid fire style.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw it over to Ben because he's got the questions. So Ben, take it away.
Are you ready?
Paper colors blue.
There you go. If you could travel back in time, what year would you go to?
Oh man, it would probably be somewhere in the 1870 to 1890 when bare knuckle boxing
There you go.
was like the biggest. The mustaches were the
Yeah.
biggest. Oh man,
Men were men.
men.
And this is the next one's kind of interesting. What's your favorite food?
Ooh, can I say Italian?
Sure.
I mean, for me, spaghetti probably is my favorite of the Italian food that I've eaten. But I like, pastas and I like the different sausages or the sauces, whether it's tomato based, Alfredo, throwing in your different sausages, your meatballs, that kind of stuff, lasagna. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. You're making me hungry.
Yes.
I know, right?
I love Italian. Yeah.
If you could own any pet legally or illegally, what animal would you own?
Unicorn. No, right, unicorn. Oh, wow. I don't know. I mean, I think I love dogs, right? Cats are cool. I've got one cat. My girlfriend's cat is here, and she bosses me around. My dog has no brain, and she gets bossed around by the cat too. So we're both subservient to the cat. But I don't know if I could own any animal. Sasquatch,
Hey, there you go.
right?
one.
Be like, you mess with me, you mess with him.
Yeah. And you could help groom each other.
Yeah.
He's a very hairy guy.
Yeah,
He
no
probably
doubt,
needs some
no doubt.
help.
Yes.
Weekly baths, just like me.
Plenty of beard oil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel like
Lots
the
of
old
it.
Bugs Bunny. Welcome to my shop. Let me cut your mouth daintily.
I would love to see that. That would be amazing.
So here's a very loaded question. What is your favorite mustache style? It could be your own or a celebrity mustache style.
So it is definitely, it's a loaded question, but it's a good question because many people don't understand. There are almost like three dozen different types or categories of mustaches, right? This at a competition level would be a freestyle. Sounds funny, but it's because the other mustaches are very defined. This is what I called an imperial, right? Thick to thin and it's open. There's a handlebar, which is usually an open curl. My good friend Hunter Kelly, if you can get a hold of him, he's got the two-time USA National Mustache Champion for that mustache. There is the English, which is generally thin and it goes out. You have the Hungarian. You have freestyle where guys will make music notes. I'll have to send it to you. I made scissors.
Oh,
It was
wow.
pretty awesome. There's the Salvador Dali, which is kind of thinner and it goes like this.
Yes.
You have the chevron and you have the walrus. You have a natural mustache. You have the petite handlebar. You have the pencil mustache. You have like the caterpillar, the cookie duster. There's so many different mustaches out there. My favorite is this particular imperial. And the reason is, and this is my number one, because you go from tapered to a thin point, not up here, right? So if I were to do this again, I would have to trim my mustache way back. I would have to cut off probably that much of my mustache in order to do it. And then second is the Hungarian. And the Hungarian kind of goes down and it comes out to a point and it goes up. The world champion I competed against who won last year in Germany said tipped always up. He was from Hungary. And then third would probably be the English. A lot of people look at the English mustache. They're like, oh, I'll just twist my mustache. No, you got to worry about that symmetry, right? Josh Quinney, he's competed and won the best groomed category several times. It's a open curled mustache, but they look at the symmetry, right? And your mustache can't be that long. It doesn't have to be as long as mine to be an amazing mustache.
Awesome.
Oh,
Wow. I love every bit of that. That's just
Loaded answer.
yes.
I love it though. Very, just like you said, I don't think people realize there's that many styles. And
Yeah.
a lot of times people say, I like a handlebar. That's one of the more well known, but there's so much more. And that's what's so great to have you on and educate us, really, because I
Yeah,
had no idea.
I sometimes get in disputes with some people. I always speak of things at the national or world level when it comes to defining the mustaches. So national is no other facial hair for mustaches, and that's all 7 categories, right? One of the other things they talk about is you cannot have hair more than 3/4 of an inch. Now they're trying to define it because it was vague. Is that down? Is that this way? Is it at a 45-degree angle? So when you look at a Mr. T, or not Mr. T, Hulk Hogan type mustache that comes down like this, that's using cheek hair. And that would go into, because I've done prejudging and judging, that would go into a
Ah,
partial beard category. Partial beard like goatee, you start to get into chop, right? Chops is usually down through, but they have a separation through here. You have friendly and unfriendly, ones with a mustache, ones without. There are so many different beards out there. And then for those who don't normally have facial hair, grandma, sorry, I'm throwing you in the bus. She did as she got older. But they have these, if you Google whiskerina, right? Ladies have to think up either a realistic mustache, realistic beard. They also can do freestyle beard. So they'll make it wavy and do these things, or they do creative. So creative mustache, creative beard. So I saw somebody in Daytona last year who made a creative tiki beard. So it hooked on, and she had like a tiki thing, and it had, and she carried it out. And so those are my favorite categories when it comes to the competitions, because they think it, they make it, and then they have to wear it and present it.
oh,
And it's
very
wild.
interesting.
Fountains with lights and water, and it's crazy. Look up Natalie Johnston. So she's like the world champion when it comes to that. My girlfriend competes, but she does it with fake hair, not real hair.
I see. That would be a lot of hair. But that's really cool. The different what do you call that? Just original, unique points that people can
It's
come
like
up with.
craft beard. Sometimes they call it. Kids. A lot of kids compete in this and make. My daughter, my youngest daughter is 9. She makes like pipe cleaner beards in mustaches.
Oh wow, that's all great stuff. I'm feel like I'm more educated on mustaches. I really
Josh,
appreciate
when he
it.
didn't tell you about that, what do you do? Just give you that smolder?
Yeah.
He
was
whole episode was him giving smolders.
That's what I guess he sticks to what he's good at, right? That's what he's won those national titles with. So
yeah, he brings the smolder.
yes, he does. We'll shift gears a little bit here. So we've asked you your favorite mustache, and we are Mustaches and Coffee, so we have to ask you then, what's your favorite coffee?
But I drink mine without anything in it, but I do like flavored coffees. Like my favorite is probably hazelnut. And I've been using drip coffees for a while. I was in the Army, and if you sprinkled some dirt in a canteen cup and stirred it up, that was coffee, and I drank it and I was happy. But as I'm getting older, 51 now, I'm appreciating that there are different ways to make coffee and the flavor does increase. So I have a drip coffee, but I also have a percolator. And so I got educated. I mean, I remember growing up as a kid and watching the commercials for, I think it was Folders, pink, 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 pink. And it was going through, and I never understood what was going on. But yeah, with a percolator, and you fill that basket, and when it gets hot, the water comes up through the tube and it goes over the coffee, and it keeps doing that. And the longer you let it do it, the richer it becomes. I might get a French press, espressos. My first introduction to cappuccinos was the 7-Eleven cappuccino machine, and it tasted like hot cocoa. So when I went to a coffee store and I was like, "Let me get a cappuccino. I drink these all the time." Yeah, all the hair on my head stood up. It was a rude awakening.
That's great though.
That's awesome.
I'll have to look into that, what you're talking about to make it. I like my coffee rich. I don't normally put stuff in it either, but I do like a good, rich tasting coffee. So you've got me intrigued on that. That's a
Yeah,
good.
because a drip coffee, the water drips, and depending on your setting, it might sit in there a little bit, and it's getting through the coffee grounds, and then it goes out.
Yeah.
But with the drip, or not the drip, the percolator, it's cycling through again and again. So you're going over those, and then the way that it's ground, there's a little thicker, so it doesn't fall through the slots. So I can take my drip coffee and put it in a percolator, but I'll get some of the grounds down in the bottom. But when I grind it up thicker, it doesn't make it through.
Ah,
Nice.
very nice. Well, you're just educating us on that too. That's something else I'll have to look into. Mustaches and coffee. You are living up to this podcast. So well done, good sir. Well,
I
good.
had one covered for sure.
Oh yes, you did an excellent job on that. We really appreciate having you on. I think we could talk all day. Literally, I've loved every
Okay.
minute of this, and it's a
Especially about
blast.
me. I could talk about me all day.
We'll have to encourage, if you're listening, go check out his Instagram. He's got Bob and Elliot, so go check him out. You mentioned all the content there. I'm definitely going to be checking out. Like you said, there's some free tips and advice. I think that's just wonderful that you're able to help ones out to grow better mustaches. I think that's doing a lot of good in the community.
Yeah, I don't necessarily do review, right? Because a lot of people, what's the best this? And I'm like, well, that's like asking me what the best food is or what the best shoes are, right? Depends on what you like and what your preferences are. So what I do is I say, here's my mustache, right? When it comes to the beard grooming and shaving. And I say, here's the product I'm using. This is how I use it. Here is the result, right? And then I have a lot of people that'll spark a question. But for me, the biggest reward out of the large platforms is being seen around the world, hundreds of millions of times. Is my passions are men's health, mental health awareness, and suicide prevention. So being able to talk on those, and then I partnered up with like Movember to talk about prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and all of that. Those are big passions of mine. So it becomes a reward, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's wonderful to hear. What we'll do is we'll give you a chance to all those things. We want to make sure we give the proper links to, but we want to first say thank you so much for coming on and giving those answers. We've had such a blast, and again, we feel more educated as a result. So we'll go ahead though and wrap things up. We got one more segment, so let's go ahead and move into our last segment.
Last drop.
Brought to you by Contempa-Roast Coffee and Roastery. Visit our store or our site at contempa-roast.com today.
Take it away, Ben.
A bear broke into a Rolls-Royce and two Mercedes in California, costing two different insurance companies $142,000 in damages. After the video was shown of one of the bears breaking into a car and opening the door like a human, police could clearly see that it was a person in a costume. 4 people were arrested after a search warrant found the bear costume that is on the screen. So like Smokey the Bear says, only you can prevent stupidity. That's what I got.
You think you've seen it all. I don't know. Have you had any bear sightings there, Bob and Elliot?
Yeah, in Virginia we have black bears, but I've never seen a black bear with a shirt. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd be like, that bear's got a shirt on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some Bernstein Bears, or that guy's supposed to be down at the local pizza place playing a banjo. What's going on?
It doesn't say anything in there, Ben, about like, after seeing I had a t-shirt on. That is a good point. Like they just,
So there's a video. The video is them just opening the car door like a normal person. That's what gave it away.
I don't even open the door like a normal person. I use my elbows. Mm-mm.
I would think with your mustache, with Elliot there, you got to be able to,
Like Indiana Jones. I just let it
yeah,
swing
Exactly.
from things.
you have options there. So, well,
Definitely.
I guess the thing to keep in mind is if you see bears, maybe do a double take because it could be just somebody in a costume robbing a place or stealing things. I don't know. That's a new one, Ben. But thank you very much for that. That was very informative for us.
You're welcome. So if you, anybody listening, if they have any funny stories, send them to mustachesandcoffee@yahoo.com, and you might have your last drop segment be featured on our podcast.
There you go. So we want to open this up to you, Bob and Elliot. So spotlight's on you. Where can people connect with you? Where can they search and find you?
So, I mean, if you Google Bob Baker mustache, there's a lot of things that come up. But my primary platform is Instagram. That's the one I've had the longest. I put out a lot of videos every day on TikTok. So I spend most of my time. I'm on YouTube as well. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Threads. I'm on X. And I try to make rounds because I want to go through and I appreciate, and it's humbling, all of the attention I've gotten. I mean, when I got to be on Inside Edition, the Washington Post, WGN out of Chicago and stuff like that, because they're like, oh my God, I didn't even know mustaches were, this big thing competition. I'm like, yeah, it's like Fight Club, right? Once you get in, you're like, it's everywhere. Why doesn't anybody know about it?
That's terrific. Well, I have to just say, commend you because that's always admirable when one's put in the time to connect with others. Sometimes you have a celebrity or big name or whatever it is, and they have their page and they may not connect with their fans, with ones who are commenting. So I have to commend you for that. That's just so awesome that you make an effort.
The big name people, when you're getting a response, typically it's not them. They hire social media teams, give them, this is how I want you to answer to represent my image. And no, it's me late at night hitting the like button. Or for the Escanar fans, I'm doing, muscle, because he gets his power in the middle of the sun. I watched all 7 seasons so that I could relate. I've watched some Brahm and, all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So yes, check
a
them out.
Captain Crunch outfit, a Lorax outfit, an Escanar outfit. Sometimes I intermix them. You don't need the mustache from the Lorax one, though.
Yes, I could totally see that. That's so cool, though. But be sure to check him out. That's all we got to say. Just he's got some great pictures on there, like you were talking about, all the different styles. It's just so cool. So keep up the good work. That's what we'll say with all you're doing. That's just great. So with that, though, let's make sure we do our due diligence. So Ben, where can people find and connect with us?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, Instagram, all the socials. We're on YouTube. So if you could subscribe to us, we would love that. And ring the bell notification. That way, when a new episode comes out, you're automatically notified. And if you have questions for us, or like we mentioned, if you want a segment on the last drop, email us at mustachesandcoffee@yahoo.com. That's how you get a hold of us.
There it is. And we also have our online store. So if you want some Mustaches and Coffee merchandise, check that out. There's the QR code on screen right now. You can get your own hat. You can get your own shirt. We got stickers. We got magnets. We got all kinds of goodies. So check it out. And we appreciate each one of you listeners. This is just a big thank you. Because
it's gone now. I ate it.
You got to put it back up, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put that back up there.
He's hungry. He's got to eat it now.
Like Pac-Man.
Love it. Yes, we love this because here we're having great guests like Bob and Elliot with us. This is terrific. We're having such a fun time. So thank you the listener. But in return, check out those links that Ben mentioned and also that QR code that was up on the screen as well. So can't say it enough. Thank you so much for coming on. We had an absolute blast. You're welcome back anytime. Real quick, I forgot to ask, is there any competitions you have coming up here in the near future?
Yeah, so the big one for me is the World Beard and Mustache Championship going on in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, pretty much the entire first week of July 2025. Even if you don't think, oh, I want to compete, you should come out and check it out. The freestyle beards these guys do, right? Some of them, they're taking 8 hours to put that stuff together, and then they walk around afraid to move. And it's truly amazing to see.
That's great. Well, we'll be able to check out. We'll keep up with you because we're very interested to see. You've won numerous awards, but you're still gunning for those other ones you talked about. So we're gonna cheer you on. We're gonna
You'll be king of the mustaches.
So we wish you the best, and thank you again so much for joining. Like I said, we had an absolute blast.
Blueberry soup, rhinoceros, knuckle sandwich, pork cheesy, Yahtzee. I got Yahtzee.
So, well, that'll about do it here. But as we always say, don't bash the stash.
I need espresso for the depresso.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.